type tag is going to be called type. The project tag, we're going to basically, these instances on Amazon, and they have string map tags on them. So we're going to look at all the servers, and if they have the right tags, then we'll be able to perform actions on them. Otherwise, we'll leave them the hell alone. Alright, so alright, we'll specify the region, we'll specify the credential, and all that sort of garbage just in here like this, and that'll be fine. So that will be good to go. Alright, so do I have EC2 stuff? Alright, so we're going to want this config.get AWS credential for config value. That's going to be our infrastructure. I'm using EC2 game fleet or something else. Yeah, I'm using just EC2 raw. Like, I don't need to use like their fleet management crap or anything like that. I'm a server engineer. I don't need that. I don't need any of that garbage. So let me just check this out real quick. So what we're gonna do is basically we got this array list of come on, you piece of garbage. Alright, it's gonna be like we're gonna want to get instances in region. Alright, there we go. Okay. So string region is gonna be this config.get string. It's gonna be infrastructure dot region, and we'll get all the instances in that region. What are these? This is EC2 model instances. Yeah, the thing about the AWS like client is it has just all this autogen shit code, which sucks. They named everything the same, so importing stuff is always a pain in the butt because it's not like EC2 instance, it's instance, and then they have like an instance, you know, for every one of their different types. It's just freaking annoying. Let's see, this is the auto control tag. we are going to have the env tag, and the project tag, and the type tag. Alright, so env tag is env tag, project tag is project tag. Let's fix that in the configs. Type tag is type tag. Let's organize those by hierarchy real quick. Alright, so we want the auto tag to be equal to true. This is a static thing, so we can just do it like this. Alright, so we're going to look at the project tag next, and the project tag should equal project. Then we'll go by environment. Environment tag should be equal to environment. And then the instance type needs to be the type tag. Alright, so what we then need to do is we're going to multi-thread our deployment. So we can deploy everything all at once. So we're going to go through for every instance. And we will do things. Alright, so deploy to instance. Alright, so we'll get our deployment stuff rolling along here. So this is called to deploy to a specific instance. What am I up to today? I am working on the server deployment stuff. So we've got a server out there right now. It's this dude out here. It's at test.dashkindev.com, and it's got, it's a real site. It's the real servers, and it's firewalled off from everyone except for me. So if you go there, you're gonna get a nice forbidden. But we're making that so that we can, basically what it'll be is where both Adam and I can log in to a shared platform and play games together and do stuff like that. So it'll be the real system, and I'll be the test stack, and then we basically make a copy of that, and that'll be the production stack, and that's what we'll go live with later. So we're setting up the deployment stuff so I can actually work. So the deployment system will move files and start processes out on these boxes for me. Alright, so yeah, Adam put that together. That's what's on our game website. It's a real crappy login screen. It'll be better when I crack the whip on Adam and tell him to go make some more UI. Alright, so there's errors in the deployment threads. We'll make sure to report an actual error. We're not going to halt the entire process if we discover one error, because it's a whole bunch of deployment stuff. We want it to do as much as it can and explode all over the place. But, yeah. Alright, so we also need to pass in the app data for this. So we've got our application data as well as our instance. Alright, and I'm also going to have this, I'm going to make an FTP client. And what we're going to do is this FTP client is going to exist. We're going to pass it in. I'm putting it out here just because it's kind of a pain in the butt to remember to shut this thing down. I'd have to do a try finally in here, and I don't really want to do that. It's just kind of boring. It's stupid looking. Alright, so let's log stuff out. Sslogger.info, deploying. Alright, so what we're going to need to do first is get our credential, because to transfer files out there we need to log into those machines from our build server. So that means we have to actually use, you know, like username, password sorts of stuff, right? So I need to remember what this name is. It is AWS SSH user. Alright. So what we're going to need to do is get credential for config value. The config value is infrastructure.ssh user. Alright. So ftp.with user login user dot user ftp with password login user dot in password. Alright, so that'll start us up and we'll be able to do stuff. What's the name of the website? It is right there. Alright, so the other thing we're going to need is we're going to need the artifact. So the artifact is going to be screw it, we're just going to have latest as the default. I really don't care. I'd have to specify the artifact on a per thing basis, and I didn't make it that way. So I'd have to go add a whole bunch of crap for that, and I don't need super complex deployment, probably ever. It's not as big of a project as we really need, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I'm going to need a bit more. I'm going to start consolidating stuff into my config system for some of this. So I need to get like my artifact directory configured. Alright, so the first thing is find the directories. Alright, so what is kind of our stuff? Alright, so the first thing is connect to remote host. We're going to prepare local mirror. We want to create remote directories. I guess we should say mirror out artifacts, mirror out files, mirror out folders, templatize scripts, mirror out scripts, templatize startup script, and mirror out startup script. Then we want to make symbolic link to current. We want to stop the current service if necessary. So once it's stopped, make symbolic link to current, and then start the current service if necessary. Alright, so those are our steps for deployment that we're going to need to take. So we've got connect to remote host done. We need to mirror out the artifact. So we need to know appdata.data.artifacts. So we're going to need for string artifact name in all these. We're going to need to grab the artifact directory. So we'll get our config value for that, which is infrastructure.artifactdir. Alright, so this directory is going to be artifact root, and then artifact name. Let's do some basic stuff. wd file utils dot folder exists current dir equals false. Then we'll throw an exception. artifact artifact name does not exist at path current dir. Okay, so the next thing we do is we have the build name, so we need to find the most current up-to-date artifact. Alright, so what is this? This is build.json. It's been a very long time since I've looked at this. So get builds in directory is going to we're going to be looking inside of /master on this one. So we want this wd build data structures builds in dir, and this is going to be current dir plus, it's just plus /master. Do we actually sort these things? Are we sorting them ever? So we do get builds in directory, and if the file exists, we deserialize it and we add. Is there some sort of compare that we actually do here? I'm looking at this like now checking for old versions to delete. So we get the builds. I guess we're not really doing a whole hell of a lot with these things. I'm just wondering why are we not sorting these things? Because otherwise we're not, I'll have to test this out. Interesting that we don't ever sort any of that stuff. Well, that might be a problem. I would expect that this has got to be sorted somewhere. Guess not. So I guess we can go ahead and sort it like that, and then we want to get the artifacts dot get artifacts dot size -1. Is there a get last? Is there last? No. That's dumb. Alright, so if artifacts dot size is equal to 0, we'll throw another exception. There are no artifacts of type artifact name available. Otherwise, we have the artifact. Alright, so the artifact file is going to be publish build folder. There we go. Now what do we have here? We have directory and we have the actual build. The directory is going to be the root directory. Alright, so we want to ftp.mirror fast mirror 2. We want build.endure the destination. Let's see, we need a deployment ID. We should probably have a specific deployment ID for everything. So we'll have our deployment ID on a global level. So our directory is going to be /opt wd services apps, and then we're going to have our app data .m end plus app data .m. Well, it's the environment name. I guess we should have the project in there as well. So appdata.mn.mproject.mname. So it'll be like Dashkin test and then appdata.mdata.name. So that's going to be our root. And then we want to add the slash and then deployment ID. So let's just, we'll do root here and then string deployment root. And that's going to be root plus the deployment ID. So the artifact root is going to be the deployment root plus, let's just have artifacts. So remote artifact root, is that? Yeah, so we'll have slash artifacts, and then string remote file root is going to be deployment root plus files, and scripts root. Alright, so we're going to want our remote root is going to be the remote artifact root plus the name of the artifact. Alright, so we got that going on, so if that fails to mirror, then we need to throw an exception, failed to mirror out artifact name to instance dot get instance ID. So if we fail, we'll do that. So let's print out some debugging information to help us out. Alright, so that should create the artifact root and mirror out all artifacts that we need. So we need to mirror out the files. Alright, so appdata.mdata.mfiles. So we need our application file. So for every file, we'll do that. Looks like this could be split up into a few methods instead of a monolith. Oh, but of course it could. But it's tools code. Sometimes it's best to keep all the trash in one place for tools. That way you don't have crazy interdependencies and write one tool and then you break all the rest of your crap on accident. Alright, and there's also a lot of debugging code in here to help debug stuff, otherwise it'd be a lot smaller in terms of real estate. So the remote root for this thing is going to be the remote file root, and then we'll add to it the file.remote path. So the local path is going to be, we're going to go from the project directory, so we need that. All the way up here. It's also nice to be able to read the code linearly. I don't know. It's one of those things where you can spend a lot of time making it all nice, and usually what I try to do is I try to get stuff written out there, and if it works and works how I want, then I usually come back and clean it up a bit. But the thing is, when you're working on your own project, a lot of the best practices just don't matter anymore, because you can live in a messy house by yourself and nobody cares. Alright, so local path is going to be this P4 root plus our local path right there. So we're going to go through and we'll just single thread this. So upload file, local path, and remote root. So if that doesn't work, we'll throw an exception. Failed to upload file, local path. So uploading local path to instance. Let's throw in a kind of a quick check here, because probably the easiest thing that's going to happen is the local path is not going to exist. So we'll just throw that out there. Alright, so we'll mirror out all the files, and that's mirrored. So we're good to go there. Yeah, that's usually what I do with like usually I'll use the scopes to like, you know, segment stuff out, kind of like that. But really what I'm doing most of the time is I'm just like leaving a note to myself that I should go refactor that. So like if I come through and like I'm like, oh yeah, I'll you know, chunk this out somewhere else real nicely. That's usually what I'll do with that sort of stuff. So it's kind of a, especially since I'm just, you know, coding for myself, a lot of that stuff gets left in there because I'm just like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not really gonna be coming back to this code anytime soon, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so for alright, so we have the application folder. So folder, we'll do the same thing with the remote root and local path. And this is a folder exists. Path doesn't exist as a folder. Doesn't exist as a file. And perhaps maybe it's time to break something. Well, yeah, that's true. Alright, so the thing that we're going to do here is we're not going to delete destination items for this mirror 2. So source is local path, dest is remote root, and the directory should already be clear, so we don't need to delete stuff. Also, if we delete stuff, it's easier in the configs if we can just like smash everything together and just deal with it. Alright, so this is going to be uploading folder, local path to instance.getInstance ID. So we're supposed to templatize the scripts, mirror out the scripts, templatize the startup scripts, and do all that sort of bullshit. How difficult is that going to be? So you have a string templater. So I guess it's a file templater. It's not super great. I'm the only one that you follow that's online. All right, well, welcome. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, World Center. You lose a lot of the abilities of your IntelliSense and everything else. Of course, IntelliSense and all the rest of that doesn't work worth a damn in C++ where I normally reside, so my habits are probably a lot different as a result. So do I really want to templatize these scripts? I mean, I really do want to templatize these scripts. Do I actually want to use the FreeMarker template stuff to do it, though? Or do I just want to kind of hack it in there? I probably shouldn't just... I kind of want this. I want like a file templater thing that does a better job than this bullshit. Like, I want a file templater, but I want it to only work for a specific file. Coax orders? That's true. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a thing here for this, which is, it's going to be slow as hell, but who gives a shit? It's tools code. You know, we're operating a world where a second or two doesn't matter. But so what we're going to do is we're going to just do templatize file, and we're just going to say file path, and then we're going to pass in this map of objects. And what this is going to do is it's just going to make a new file templater, which is something that's like supposed to work on like a whole frickin' directory. And it's just like we're going to... So we'll get like the parent file, throw it on there, and templater dot like process template, and we'll just do like, you know, f-type get name, and we'll pass the map in there. And then so we got wd result substring result. So if result.inner, we're just gonna throw a new exception, failed to template ties file path result dot get reason. Alright, cool. So we've got this kind of really crappy, not the best function in the world. Well, it's fine. It's convenient. We'll just start up an entire ridiculous templater just because we can. Why not? Alright. What is this thing all pissed about? Yeah. Passing variables to other threads need to be final. I mean, if I could actually like write a program using literally only a box of chicken McNuggets, I'd probably be just offering the McNuggets to somebody else to do it. I think that would be simpler. Alright, so what we want to do here is this wd file templater templatize file. So we're going to go through every script that we've got. So this is going to be app data scripts. I don't even have a scripts. Alright, let's go make it. This is just a simple string, so we don't have to worry too much about this garbage. Alright, so it's going to be our p4 root plus slash plus script file. So let's just do our templatize file. So what we're going to want to do here is we need our map. Alright. My typing has gone straight to hell. Alright, so I'm going to put the config object in here. So basically I can access the config system and the credentials and whatever the hell else I need. So what we're also going to do is let's add the instance. Let's just call it instance. So inside of our template files, we'll be able to grab all sorts of just random stuff that we need. So grab the app data, we'll grab that thing, but let's also add some easy things. So we'll grab the instance ID, let's grab the public host name, let's grab the private host, let's get the private host as an IP address, not as something else. We're going to want the project name. I want the environment name. We're going to want the other name. What is this name? This is the type. App type. We'll want the deployment ID. Come on, learn to type. So grab that deployment ID, shove that in there if we can. Excellent. So easy access, template variables. You froze? What? Or am I frozen? No, I'm not frozen. That's unfortunate. I've been playing, I was playing XCOM yesterday, and my computer was just blue screening constantly. It was just freaking frustrating as hell. I had to I reinstalled all the NVIDIA drivers, still screwed up. I had to just turn off some of their graphics stuff because it was just somewhere in there, they're doing things that my NVIDIA card doesn't want to do. You walked too far away from the modem. That'll happen. Especially if you're on some sort of small tablet device. Like, the reason a lot of those are cheap is because they put in kind of crappy or cheap Wi-Fi cards. Which is pretty funny because we shipped a game in Amazon where we were running, like, it was for small tablets that were cheap and easy to buy, right? Like less than $100, and we had like these big beefy game servers on the back end that would render video of this like complex game, and you'd be able to play like this super high fidelity graphics game on your tablet, on your cheap tablet. So it was pretty funny that basically, like, when the tablets came out and we got them, and we're like trying to do this because streaming video is actually requires a lot of data, right? Like, that's a lot of bits. So when we actually got the devices and ran it on it, it just looked awful. Like, it was just terrible. Because the reason the tablets were cheap is because they had cheap hardware and they couldn't stream everything. And like, they also had temperature problems. So you're streaming all this video, and decoding compressed video stream is also a very intensive CPU thing. So we have this tablet that's like $80 that is struggling to receive all the information that it's got, and then it's working its butt off trying to decode all this video in real time, and it heats up. So like, we had these tablets that would reach like 30 or so degrees Celsius, I think. No, not 30. It was higher. It was, what was it like? Yeah, it was somewhere like they would reach like 60 degrees Celsius on these things. Yeah, like they literally were like fire hazards. So you get this, and your tablet would just get hot after like 5 minutes. And like, it wasn't 30°C. It was much higher than that, but it was so high that like QA came back and they're just like, this is not good. This is not good at all. And like, so we had this game, and like we developed it for like a whole year and a half or something like that, and we're gonna sell it and everything. But then when we're gonna release it, we couldn't charge anybody money for it because it sucked. It was just unplayable. So it was just this massive just project like fuck up where it's like we made a product that our customers couldn't use, and that was just fundamentally flawed from the beginning. Like just idiotic. It would basically be like, okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. Like, there's this problem of, like, we're trying to get down a ski hill, right? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put wheels on the bottom of our skis, and then have like, sure, it works, and it'll solve some problems with navigating on a ski slope, but it's kind of worse than, like, we should have just made a fucking mobile game that worked on the device. Like, I don't know. It's not too early for its time. It's just an idiotic product. Like, basically, what you wanted at that point was just like the NVIDIA Shield or something else, right? A small thing that could be streamed from the computer in the next room. Like, it wasn't even a multiplayer game. There was no damn reason to have us pay for servers sitting around. It was just a stupid idea, I think. Anyway, let's upload some stuff. I need, does this have, can I upload just bytes? Upload folder, file, did I don't have like upload string or anything like that. Alright, well, if I can only upload files, then what I'll do... So we'll create a temp file here, and we'll delete it. Alright, so we'll do wd file utils write to file temp, and then template data. Maybe make it an NVIDIA Shield exclusive. Yeah, I don't know. The funny thing at the end of that project, like, since I was server guy, I knew the cost of everything. I calculated it out, how much money we had spent on the project and how many people played it. And it actually would have been less expensive to mail every single one of our customers a free Xbox One and like 5 games and an Elite controller. And we would have spent less money on the project, and we would have been able to reach more people. Let's just say my manager's a little upset when I made that comparison in a meeting. So, alright, let's get the startup script as well. So, we've got our file, and we're going to... Our remote root, yeah, okay, so we've got our remote file is going to be... It's going to be scripts and then the name of the thing. So, do we have the scripts directory? Scripts root. Plus slash plus fuck. The name is not good on this one. To hell with it, it'll be new file script path dot get name. Might as well. Wow, it's a lot. Yeah, well, it was a lot. Let's just say it was it's an expensive project that did nothing. It's amazing. I don't know. It's one of those things where when you're working like a big corporation or something like that, it's always just amazing how much money gets spent on stuff. Like most people working at any corporation do not ever have access to any finances or anything else, any information about what actually happens. Like if you're an artist or designer or something, or an engineer or a manager, like you don't actually know how much things cost. All that's handled by like other departments, and that's on purpose. But business math is what I call it, is just another league of its own. Like if you're worried about paying, like $50 or $100 for Comcast every month, like in a business setting, it's just like, okay, this meeting just costs us $3,000 right here. So, if you're bitching about the Comcast bill, you might as well never hold the meeting and just buy everybody around a scotch because it's cheaper. So, stuff like that. Anyway, I need to upload this file. So the source is the absolute path, and the destination is going to be the remote file. Unable to upload script to Alright, so that will upload all of our scripts.